Hi everybody, it's me, Charles Norman, Sports Solutions LLC. We are the creators of Athletic SOS. Instead of going through what Athletic SOS is, down below, I've given you a code and I've given you instructions for how to use the code, but I also put a link in now so you can go and kind of get a quick 1-minute overview of what the software is. All I'm going to say right now is if you have a high school athlete and you're trying to get them an athletic scholarship, you're going to want to use our software. It is phenomenal software. We've actually added some cool stuff to it, but we don't charge for the software. I'm not going to say it's free because I'm going to ask you guys later on to help me out as I build out what I'm kind of going to talk about here. But you can use the software at no cost. You're not obligated to do anything. It's there for you. It's really powerful. It's not some it's not an app. It's an enterprise level piece of software. I did this for 35 years for the government, and I ran into a problem getting my daughter an athletic scholarship. And what I went through when we finally got her one, working with her high school coach, who used to be a former junior college coach, he walked me through a process. This is back a long time ago, back in 2008, 2009, that I was starting this process. And it wasn't until 2013 I came up with a way to do it because of cloud computing that I could spread it out. And it's taken me from 2013, I was still working full time, so I didn't really get to do this until 2018 when I kind of came in and took it over. I was letting some other people work with it. I saw some of the other problems that we were having getting it into the hands of families. I took it over, started to move forward with it, and then the pandemic happened, kind of set me back a little bit, but it was the best thing that ever happened because I now have moved forward quite a bit. So that's kind of the story. You definitely want to use our software, and I want you guys to feel comfortable using it. I want you to feel comfortable with me that I'm not going to take your information and sell it to anybody. I'm not doing any of that stuff. So, and I'm not going to, well, anyway, I'm hoping you guys can see that I'm very sincere on what I'm trying to accomplish here. But what I want to talk about today is youth sports, high school sports. It has been irreparably, I'll say, damaged just for the shock of the statement, right? It's not going to get fixed. And the reason I'm doing this, I'm not this doomsday type person, but the reason I'm saying this is just this past Thursday, and September has been a ridiculously busy month for me. I've been to 3 different states. I've talked to schools. I've been talking to other businesses, programs that put on tournaments and showcases and all that, and we're going to use the software, and I've joined with some other people so that we're bringing a package together to give to these organizations to kind of get in with them. And so I'm sitting in a lot of meetings, and just this past Thursday, it was a Zoom meeting. I had made it back home. It was late. The plane got in later than we thought, and so, but I had to get on this call, and so I was at home, and the call was just completely disappointing. The people we were talking to, I can tell they were just, and I know they're doing a business, but they're looking at numbers, they're looking at the old way of doing things, the old paradigm for youth sports, and we just weren't breaking through. So anyway, I get off the call. The call's an hour, maybe an hour, 15 minutes, but I think because I was just a little bit tired from the travel, right? And so I go downstairs, and my wife sees me, and I'm explaining to her what took place on the call, what transpired, and she asked me a question. She goes, well, if this is going to get you frustrated, because I never get frustrated, right? I'm always easygoing. Everything's fine. I'll figure it out. She goes, why do you keep doing it? What's the point? And so that's kind of what I want to talk about here is it's broken. It's not going to be, should we even try to fix it, I guess is my big question. And then what's the point? So I want to answer those questions and I'm hoping you guys will see where we're going and join in with me on our journey to try to I don't know if we can fix it, but that we can parallel it and that it'll be okay, and then how important it is. And then I want to tie this in also, the problems that are happening in youth sports, that separation is the same thing that's happening economically for everybody. So, and I'm not an economist. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not giving any financial advice. And I'm not even an expert, I don't think, in the youth sports industry. I'm in here, I do software, and I'm going to try to build an ecosystem. I can see numbers. I've done this for years. I can see where trends are going. And so even in our numbers, the people using our software, the people that actually get athletic scholarships, the people that go on to go to college, people that use our software and they end up at trade schools. I can't tell everybody that's doing it, but I can see the trends. I can see the searches. I can see what they're trying to do. And I'm telling you right now, there is a divide from the haves and the have-nots, and it's economically, and the same thing is happening in youth sports. And I don't know if it could be fixed. I think we should try. So I'm going to answer that question right now. And I know a lot of people that are trying because they've contacted me and they're saying, hey, we like what you're doing. What do you think about this and that? But I don't think you can do it. And it's because when things start moving forward, as technology came forward, things are escalating in the separation. So the kids that have the talent, so you're a parent, and it really comes down to parents more than anything else. So you're a parent, you've got a kid, they're 7, 8 years old. You've got them playing baseball, basketball, football, soccer, volleyball, whatever the sport is that they happen to get into, and they're just not feeling it, right? They're 7 and 8. You've been doing it for a couple of years. You got all these other things in your life that you got to worry about, and you're fighting the kid to get up to go to practice. You're fighting them. They're crying on the way to the game. They don't want to be there. And so you're going to give up. And so in that age group, that parent needs to say, hey, maybe this isn't the right sport. Not that my kid's not athletic enough or they don't like it or whatever is going on. Maybe there's another sport we can try. But what usually happens is they take them out of sports and they'll put them in something else, right? They'll have them they'll take music lessons. They'll do something, right? Because they're interested in those other things. But I'm asking you guys to try to find another sport. And I'm not just saying this is what we should do. I'm doing something about it, which I'm revealing as we move forward. I'm taking action. I'm not just talking. I'm not sitting in the park just talking, right? I'm taking action on this thing, and I'll reveal these things as they come a little bit closer to fruition. And I'm working so hard, so digitally, that's probably why I get frustrated sometimes. I'm on these calls. I don't think people are seeing it. I think they think I'm hyperbolic when I talk about this stuff. And then, so your kid is, let's say your kid is more 10 to 12-year-old. Now they're in that junior high school age, right? And they're sort of coming into their own and who they're going to be. And that is where, somewhere about 9 or 10 is where the real big separation. So even if your kid decides they do like playing, maybe they're not that talented at it, they're okay at it, or maybe they are pretty good at it, well, that separation starts taking place. They start going to private clubs, travel club programs, things like that. They are going to separate from the recreational kids. And the recreational kids, the thing that bothers me the most about that is some of those kids that end up in the recreational area, if they would have just gotten picked up over here, they have what it takes to play at the higher level. But you're not going to get a chance to see it because they've veered off this way. And I don't care how much the cities want to put money into these programs, things like that. They're not getting the same level of coaching, training, instruction, encouragement, all of that kind of stuff. They're just sort of playing over here. And so as a parent, you've got to be cognizant of that. What do you do about it? We'll talk about that as we move forward. But let's say your kid comes over and they're on one of these travel club programs, and now they're in, and now it's starting to take money out of your pocket, right? But your kid's into it. What kind of training should they be doing? How do they focus? How do they zero in on what they need to do to separate themselves one step further? And so those are the kind of things that I want to talk to you guys about as we move forward on what it is you can do. And I've talked about this in the past. You guys go back and look at my old videos. I talk about things like vision training. I just got this equipment in right now, and I just got training on it yesterday. And vision training is mind-blowing when you really think about it, because you keep thinking about seeing. But it talks about your physical and your mental abilities on top of that. And so I'm really excited about that. And I'll be showing that in the next few weeks. And then we'll talk about cognitive. What do you see? How quickly can you process things? How can you move? And these are all techniques they're using just in general for kids with learning behaviors, behavioral problems, things like they're unable to learn. Whatever's going on with them, these are techniques they're using there. But it fits right into a kid that's trying to be an athlete, because your perceptions, the things you see, your movements, everything is tied together. And these are cutting edge for sports, but it's been going around forever for everything else. And so I'm talking to all these doctors and these leaders in these industries, and I'm just getting blown away about what's possible. And then finally, we get you to the high school age, right? And so you're trying to now position yourself to get one of those few athletic scholarship opportunities are out there. At least get offered. And I talk about that all the time. And I call it positioning, right? And so Athletic SOS is a part of that. So that's where we started, because those are the kids that are on the edge of missing out. And I hate when kids miss out and they didn't do anything wrong. They've done everything they're supposed to do. They got their grades up. They've taken the SAT, ACT. They took the right courses. They've practiced all these years since they were 5, 6, 7 years old. They're on the team. They're putting that effort in. And everyone's got these expectations, and they've done nothing wrong. And then all of a sudden, it just doesn't pan out. And so those are the things that make a big difference. And so all of that stuff I just talked about all sounds great, right? It's cool. He's got some stuff going. He's going to let us in on it. All of that's cool. But that is where the problem lies, because what ends up happening, if you did everything else I said right there, you would still be in trouble. You'd still be at a deficit, because there's another whole level inside of youth sports that you won't even know existed. And it's running completely counter to what you're trying to do. These are the athletes, these are the people that have parents that were coaches, they played at the professional or collegiate level. They've all gotten together now, and they've created a whole nother lane that you're just not invited to. And I've talked about this before, I know. But I just want you to know that that's out there. And so you're not even getting the same opportunities that you think you're getting. You're watching your kid excel. They're beating up on these other kids. They're on this great little travel club team that you've put together as a parent, and you guys are going around and you're kicking butt. And there's some other kids that aren't even at that tournament you're at. They're in a gym somewhere else. College coaches are actually coming to see their practices because they're all together. They have the gravitas, right? The parent play at a high level. Why would I go waste time over here when these people are already over here? And you see this from not the public schools, but the private schools, the magnet schools, the charter schools. They're everywhere, and you don't see it right in front of your face, but you don't see it. And it's the same thing to me with the economy. It's the same thing. Most of us, 90% of us, are the frogs sitting in the water going, hey, this water's getting a little bit warm. And you can't tell you're in the pot and it's boiling, but you see it, but you won't acknowledge it. And that's what bothers me about a lot of this stuff, is that people are struggling financially. I know they are, but they won't say anything. They keep on moving forward, and they won't say anything, and they keep borrowing, or they keep struggling. Prices keep going up, but their wages aren't going up with it, and that separation is starting to happen. It's going to be the have and the have-nots. And so on my journey, on what we're trying to do is, I'm going to say in the next 12 years, this is a long-term process for us, but we're going to get started. That 5-year-old, if you're one of those parents, if you're an adult, and here's the other thing, I was on that call, and it was interesting on that call, because one of the things I recognized was those people on the call, they're parents too. I know they do a business in youth sports, and it's got to be this way, and it's the way it's always been, and we got control of this industry, and we may let you in, we have to think we'll get vetted again, all that kind of stuff, and that's fine. But I go, their parents or their grandparents, they've got kids coming up. Do they not see? Maybe they think they're on this side where the separation is happening, and they're on the other side of the fence. Maybe that's what it was on there. But if you're a parent, you gotta wake up. Everybody's got to wake up here and say, okay, I'm going to put my kid in the best situation. And so what is that situation? And that's what we're going to try to work on now. And that separation is that if your kid is playing sport at any level, it could be even rec and parks. If they're playing at any level, yes, you want to go to that path I talked about before, but we've got a separate path we're going on now. And this is that access path. This is where you're saying, hey, if you're an athlete and you got anything going and you're going all these different places, I need to get you connected with some of these other athletes that you're working with, all these separate teams, and we walk in the gym, the same gym to play, but me and my 12 kids in basketball are going to sit over here, and these 12, no, we've got to get these kids intermixing, learning about each other, talking to each other, and then connecting with each other so that when they leave that gym, even though they go two different directions, they can connect with each other. Social media allows that to happen. They don't even have to give phone numbers. Just say, hey, here's my, I don't know all the different social media platforms or what's hot right now, and I don't know when you're watching this. It can be 5 years from now. But whatever it is, they need to say, hey, here's how you connect with me. And I want, it seem like cool people. That is where we need to go. Because I'm going to tell you guys right now, by the next 12 years to 15 years, that separation is going to happen. And the reason I know that is not just because I watch how the world works, because I left a government environment and I went to a private environment to start this business. And the only way I make it just triggered me is that I got to be part of a network. I got to be part of a group of people that are moving forward. Now, the one thing that I do differently that a lot of people do, and the people that are in my group that I decided to rock with, and that's why it's taking me longer, we're all keeping our own stuff, but we're working together, if that makes sense. And it doesn't matter if this person over here and this person over here can tie together, and I knew this person first, but if I'm working with you over here and I know they can help you, I will tie you guys together. You don't owe me anything. And I want you to do the same thing too, because everyone's going to have to build for their own families now. That whole getting up, and here's the really bad part about this, or the awakening part about this is, you're also going to have to play the other game. You got to get up, you got to go to school, you got to get your degree or get a trade or a skill set. You got to take a job, but you don't get to sit around anymore. You don't get to say, oh, I've done it. I'm going to go ahead and make this money and live this nice leisurely life. It's done. It's over. You're going to have to do something extra. And so your kid's doing the same thing. And I think that's where I'm trying to tie this economy, the way the world is going. You're either going to be, there's a fence, there's a divide right here. Are you over here or are you over here? That's just the way it is. And I don't know a better way to do it. What I'm hoping is that you don't look at that as a negative, but as a positive. Because if you start learning, yeah, I got to go to work, but we're going to do this other thing too for the family. We're going to build a business of our own. We're going to do whatever we're going to do. I'm going to learn how to do that, and I'm going to be able to tell my kids, my grandkids, and all that kind of stuff. And we're going to build a legacy off of that. And we're going to have fun doing it because it's all just a mindset. Same thing with your kids. Yes, I'm 7, 8 years old. I'm not good at soccer. I'm not good at basketball. I don't even like doing it. But there's 30 other sports you can get an athletic scholarship in, and there's a ton other sports that you can just do. And you don't have to do it forever, but do it long enough so that you can meet other people. That's why I want you guys to try these other sports so that you can get around people that do these sports that aren't the regular team-oriented sports that you do as a young person when you're first starting out. And so those are the kind of ideas and thoughts that I'm trying to get through for everybody. I'm not telling you that I'm absolutely right about everything that I'm talking about, but I just what I'm really looking for are the people that feel the same thing that I feel, that understand what's going on, that see this separation taking place, and they want to do something about it. Because the one thing I don't want people to do is to feel hopeless out here. And the other thing I don't want you to do is to expect somebody to fix it. I don't care if it's a politician. I know we got the election coming up. I don't care who you vote for. It won't matter. And that's what I want in your head. It doesn't matter, because I have a plan of my own. And I want you to have this same thing for the kids. And it's just you. It's you guys, the parents. It's nothing else I can say. So where do we go from here? I've just made this whole long speech about X, Y, Z. I'm going to start next week. I'm going to start revealing some of the things I'm doing. I'm going to a big conference out here in Southern California. It's called Teams 24. I'm going to be there. It's appointment based, so this is the first time I've even done one of these. I've done exhibits everywhere. I've shown the software all over the place, but it's usually people going up and down the aisle, and they stop by and they learn about us, and some people want to use it, some people don't. I go to a lot of school type things, for high school athletes and stuff like that. And so I get software there. And then on the other side is the partnerships I work with. We get to go to these corporate providers and things like that. So, and I work with a lot of nonprofits. So I've done all of that, but this is the first one where it's all appointment based. So I got in on this one, but I'm going to show you guys my setup. I'm going to show you what I'm talking to them about, because it's going to lead you to what we're going to try to do next. And this is just me doing this on my own. And one of the things that I do, this is what I told my wife. I said, I'm not as concerned. I was a little bit frustrated because I was tired from that call. The very next day, we had another call that went really well. So that just shows you how one day leads to the next one and everything changes around for you, right? But what I told her was, it's not about me. It's about 3, 4, 5 generations down from me. So I don't get frustrated, and I have a plan. So I'm okay. But I want you guys to be kind of in that same vein. And here's the other thing. So I've done Las Vegas. I did Hawaii. I've been to Arizona for something that I'm working on, and I got Texas. I got Florida. I've got a couple other places I'll be going in the next few months. But one of the things I did when I went to Hawaii, I ended up getting somebody gave me access to a 2-bedroom condo type situation in a resort. And so I told my wife about it. I said, dang, I got both of these rooms now. And she goes, so she makes the phone call to my daughter, which I should have anticipated before. And my daughter just sees a free trip. She's married and she has my grandson. So I'm okay. Okay, she's going to come. And then her husband, who never does this, he goes, hey, I want to go too. So he comes too. So now we're all in this place, and everyone that knows me knows no matter where I go, I want my own front door. I want you to have your own front door, and we're not going into the same place. I just need my space. And I know it shouldn't be that big a deal. I don't Airbnb. I don't do any of that stuff. I don't want to come down. If we come down to a common area, it's out, get on the elevator and go downstairs, and we'll all go eat and go do whatever we're going to do. And that's just who I am. But they're all in the room. And so she's got my grandson, and he's 18 months old. And as far as I'm concerned, he's my best friend. Right? We do everything together. Whenever we're around, he sees me, he lights up, I light up. And so My room's over here, their room's over here. There's a living room in the middle and the kitchen and all that kind of stuff. And every morning I get up and I go swimming. Whenever I go someplace, I go swimming. I learned how to swim as I started doing the software. I didn't even know how to swim. So I took swimming lessons as an adult. Very embarrassing in a lot of ways, but I did it anyway. And so I learned how to swim. So I get up and I go swimming in the morning because nobody's at the pool. It's sort of a resort. And then I got work to do later on. So I go swimming as early as possible. No one's in the pool. I go back into the room and I take a shower and I change clothes. And every time my grandson is opening that door, because he's up now, and he's pushing his stroller towards me, and he climbs in it and he just looks at me. And then I take that stroller and we would go out the front door. And we did this for 6 days. And as soon as we got out in the hall and closed the door, he would look back up like this, and he would have this big smile, and off we went. And all we did was went to the resort. He's riding the stroller, way old enough to walk and do all that, but he just feels, we just feel comfortable. And every now and then he would get out, and then we'd start turning over some rocks and picking up the giant leaves, and we see a bird, and there's fish in the little pond in the resort and all that kind of stuff. And we would take an hour, and we're just meandering through everything. And everybody's looking at us like we're nuts, right? Because there's other people up early over there. And so that is my thing. And so I see him and I get it. That is my responsibility. That's our responsibility as adults, them, the future. And that's my grandson, but his grandkids. At some point, we're establishing a standard for our family on how we're going to move in this world. I'm trying to establish it in my family a certain way. My dad established the way he did it. He was very big in the community. He was huge in LA. Everybody knows who he is. And so I'm doing it my own way, but my dad's standard passed to me. I didn't even know it was happening. And so it's going to happen again, and we're going to move this thing forward. And so that's what I want for everybody. That's what I want for every family. And it doesn't have to be just the guys. It can be the ladies. You guys can do the same thing too. But the most important thing that I've learned doing all of this stuff, business, whatever it is, I'm trying to move forward, that there's so many good people in this world that are so quiet. They don't say anything. They're just quietly doing their thing and moving forward. They're not loud. They're not on social media, ripping and yelling and telling and ranting and raving. They're not doing that, but they're out here. And that the other thing is that if you make yourself valuable to a group that's ahead of you, somebody that's already moving, if you can make yourself valuable to them, they will bring you in with them. And then what you do from there is you have your thing that's going to be offset from that. So you're already working hard. You already got kids. You got to get them to what they need to do. Now you're going to go start this other thing. And then you're going to have to have a little bit of humble pie and let somebody that's bigger than you you're going to have to taper off with them a little bit. This is just the way I'm doing it. I'm just telling you. And they're going to see the value in what you're bringing. And mine just happens to be software, but it can be anything that you want to do. So you're going to tailor, you're going to say, hey, I have this thing. Does it help you? And maybe you only get a small 0.5% and they're taking the other 99.9%. That's just the way it's going to be. But you're going to get in with this group and you're going to show your value, and then you're going to be doing your other thing. And you're going to use this connection to get you in the room for other things. And then you keep moving. You keep moving. It's a slow process. It's not going to be fast. You're not going to be a millionaire overnight. You're not going to make the hit record or do this piece of art or come up with some NFT idea or something like that that's going to make you a quick burn. And even if you did, it's all on paper and it'll go away anyway. You're just trying to get your foot in the door, and you're just moving on a path that isn't the other path. Again, I'm going to close this out right here because I know I've been talking too long. There is a divide. It's an economic divide. There's one in youth sports. And there's nothing we can do. To me, there's not a lot you can do. I do commend all of the groups that are trying to fix this thing, and I work with them as best I can. But it is what it is right now. And so you're going to have to decide. You're going to be on this side of the divide, or you're going to be on that side of the divide. And in youth sports, this side of the divide means you're going to go through all the things that I talked about earlier, but you're also going to parallel with having your kid, every time you go visit someplace, every time you do something, you're going to make sure your kid gets something else out of it other than just playing in the games, other than just going out there. So you're gonna get access. You're going to be at different places. Maybe it's a museum, maybe it's an amusement park, maybe it's a theater thing, maybe it's, I don't know what it is. What is your kid into? What are you interested in? You guys got to do other stuff, and you're going to do that because you're going someplace anyway. It's going to happen. It's part of being in sports. You're already moving. Who are they getting interested with? What other kind of things can they learn to build up their skills other than weight training and skill development and nutrition and all that stuff? Yeah, everyone's doing that. What are the things they aren't doing? Those are the things that we're going to be talking about. All right, I've gone on long enough. I just wanted to kind of get this out. It's important for me. I'm putting all of this stuff together and I'm packaging it. Everybody that I work with, I'm working with some really cool people. They all think I'm scattered and I'm trying to do too many things and I'm shiny objecting, but I see my big picture that I'm going for. I want you guys to develop one for yourself. And that's really what we're going to be all about. All right, guys, as always, best of luck to you in all your endeavors, everything you want to do for your kids. I know families, I know this is a lot for you. I know mom, I know dad. I know there's a lot. I'm asking you guys to do a lot, but you can do it. I promise. Once you get into it, some of that other stuff, you'll realize how ridiculous it was that you were so enamored about who's playing, football this Sunday or played college yesterday. Even though you went to that college, and you can do that too, but it's not going to be as important to you because you're going to start to realize, why am I so fascinated with what's going on over here when I need to be building something over here? And you have the time, you have the hours to do it. You just don't see them because you're using them for something else. All right, I've got to stop there. Best of luck to you guys, as I said earlier, and I look forward to you guys working with us. If you like what we're talking about here, please subscribe to the channel. I usually don't ask for that, but I'm going to do it now. Hit the like button so I can get in the algorithm. YouTube keeps on sending me stuff about, they like what I'm doing, but I need to get more people watching. But you know what? You're either going to rock with what I'm saying or you're not. It either makes sense or it doesn't. So anyway, that is it. Talk to you guys later. Bye.